Yo, welcome to Music is a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean, and Music is a Day Job is brought to you by the Concert app. The Concert app is an artist accelerator app that takes artists from opener to headliner to on tour, gives the fan the best experience in independent live music. And now today, what we're going to talk about is merchandise. It's one of the probably best forms of income for an artist. I would say it's up there. Other than the actual, like I would say, shows and sponsors are my two favorite. Merchandise, I haven't always been the best at, but what I can tell you about it is it's one of those things that can save a night, especially when you're going and you possibly maybe doing shows to start getting your feet wet and stuff like that. Start taking merchandise because you'd be surprised how many people buy it. I'm going to talk about multiple things with merchandise. The first thing I want to talk about, the first thing I want to talk about with merchandise is, as I said, like a lot of it can be an easy income source. So when you first start doing shows and whether you're opening up for whoever, doing nationals, whatever, or you're doing your shows or whatever, a lot of times this is where the money can double up for you. So when you're doing shows and, like, let's say you're not at the point of breaking even, like let's say you're even in the concert and you're not going over the minimum amounts, like let's say you're trying to get to the 30s and stuff like that, so you're only doing like 10 or 15 people. When you bring merch now, you probably can sell to 10 or 15 people like that you already know. Then you also can sell to the people who are like who, if you have dope, you have dope designs and stuff like that, other people going to want to buy it and purchase it. So that brings me to the point of how people do merchandise. And I always like to tell people it's two ways to do merchandise. You have what I call like merch that exists outside of who you are, and you have merch that is based off of who you are. Now let's talk about both of them. Now, one person that does this very well, which I hope you go watch, is we have a video that's going to be me talking to an artist by the name of J-Dub the Ruler. He's one of the dudes that does this like better than almost everyone I've ever seen on the independent level, as far as like starting up and just doing this like very, very well online. I know a lot of people that just do it in general. Like one person from here was very good with the merch that's based off of them, that isn't like a secondary type of merch. So like, okay, let's take the first one. You have merch that directly ties to you. Like for instance, like let's say my group would have been Top Flight merch. It says the name of the group, says the name of the artist, says the name of whatever like that. A lot of that merch is tied to people wanting souvenirs. Like, oh, I was at this tour at this time, or I was like, I love this artist, so I wear this. But that's a very select time to wear these things, these types of like garments or whatever it is, like whatever you do. Like I've seen people do lighters, I've seen everything. So having those like are good for your people when you're an artist and you have tons of fans. That's good, because then they'll purchase those things because they just want to be like, yo, I support this person. And luckily there's a big swing in music right now that like supporting independent artists is like dope to people. So they look at it as in, hey, I know who this artist is. You don't know who this artist is. You should check it out. So then that gives you a higher chance to sell those types of products, because you then have that like upper hand of people that just like independent stuff. Now the other side, which, as I was saying, the gentleman is good at doing, is like building a brand of merchandise that is tied to you but could mean something else. At one point I was selling a shirt that said "No Love" on it, and it said the N, it was like N, and then the O was a heart, and then it was L, and then the O was a broken heart, and it was VE. So that doesn't, like, it is a song of mine. However, just the "No Love" ties to people in different ways. So people were buying the outfit that never heard the song, and people were buying it just because it looked dope. So when you build that type of merch, this is merch that you can sell all the time, that people don't have to be tied to the artist. This can be, it doesn't have a genre to it. It just has the idea of, hey, no love. Like the homie that I was talking about, he does sevens, and now his sevens are based off of him being from Colorado Springs. However, just the dope 7 just looks dope. You know what I'm saying? Like the 7 just looks dope. So then it's kind of like when Drake did like the 6 or whatever like that. Like people do those and then the numbers look dope. And then it's just like, hey, I'll just rock it because like the 7 is dope. If I like the number 7, anything like that, like 7's a positive number, all this stuff like that. Like people will then take it and just purchase it because it's like something outside of that scenario. One thing I will tell people with merchandise, definitely look for where you buy merchandise because there's places you can wholesale buy merchandise that are if you have like a what is it called, not a wholesaler's license, but like it's like a merchandise license. I can't remember what it's called, but they'll let you purchase things like at wholesale prices. And then if you can do that, that makes it easier for you to constantly create and create and create. You know what I'm saying? And then because especially with clothing has such a big markup in it that you can start making decent money. And this is something that can financially kind of start pushing your career to get you a little further, which I tell a lot of people, like, even though I wasn't the greatest at it, I've just seen a lot of people control their career with parts of that. Like for instance, like I knew a dude, even if he's going to drive to Grand Junction, and he might drive to Grand Junction to get on a set, but not have, like, for instance, like not get paid for the show. But he's trying to break into that market. So he's going out there and doing the shows or whatever like that and trying to break into that market. But he took his merch and he made $1,000 to $2,000 off the merch. You see what I'm saying? Like, I remember I'd go out there and I sold out of my merch. I remember I had this big strategic plan of what I was going to do with my merch. And I was like, yo, we're going to sell it online. We're going to do this. And like, I was like, we'll have it up online. And then we're going to go on tour first. Then we're going to put it online. I went out on tour, and the first 3 nights I sold out of the merch, and then we didn't have anything to go online. And then me being like, I guess you can kind of say with my merch, I was lazy. Like getting shows, I was always good at. But with my merch, I was kind of lazy. So I probably should have re-upped and did it again. I didn't do it. And I didn't end up releasing more merch until like the following year, which I probably could have made a lot more money if I would have just, stuck to it. But the grind it is a grind. You know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to come up with different ideas and different designs, and you're seeing which designs work. The hard part about this merch is like figuring out who's going to sell it. Now, one thing I will tell artists that a lot of artists probably like wouldn't, some of them won't do it because they'll be divas, but I'll tell you, one of the best ways to sell your merch is after you get off stage, you go sell it. Like, I'm just gonna tell you the truth. You wish someone could go sell it for you, like to sell it during, you know what I'm saying? And I've seen people who've had great people who are salesmen that would actually go into the crowds and like start selling it one at a time, and it just like killing. But if you can't do that and you can have somebody watch it, I always tell people who have like girlfriends or boyfriends that want to be at the show, make them go do that. make them go sit by the merch and sell the merch. And have them go do that. And then when you get off stage, you go over there and you sell it. Because a lot of people will actually purchase it because they already go over there to see you. So when they, like, for instance, if you kill it, they'll come over there to be like, man, you did your thing, whatever, boom, 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 boom. And then you have that open gate of like them looking at the merch like, oh, is this your merch? A lot of people just do it for themselves. Like, you don't even have to say, hey, I got merch. They'll just be like, oh, this is you, whatever. And some people say, which I tell people also, like, yeah, when you're on stage at the last song, or you're going to do, hey, my merch booth is in the back, I'll be over there after, come over there and get an autograph. Sometimes, and like my business partner will actually tell you that one of his things that he was strong at that would get merch sales was that he would say he was giving away autographs and posters over there. So that actually directed everyone to the merch table, so then they got to see the merch. So like a lot of it just has to be them paying attention to the merch. You know what I'm saying? And so with, if you price good and you know what I'm saying, sometimes do deals. Like, give them deals so they can, like, so they're just excited. Like, especially when you're already like sold out of a lot of the merch, or you've already made your money back and you're making money, do some deals, get the merch out and then re-up. We have people that still like have shirts from, I guess you can kind of say, 2016, 17, and 18 that still wear those shirts to our shows. So merchandise is definitely one of those things that I feel like every artist should be like focusing on if they're even when you get better in the game. If you're starting and you're trying to create some income for yourself, that's one way that's like dead out the gate. When you're moving and you're doing good, you have tons of fans, so you might as well add to it. So when I tell people like the easiest way to get to making $80,000 or $100,000, add that merch in there. Because if you were making $1,000 a night doing shows, when you add merch, it'll just jump. And you have like an unlimited amount of time to sell, because if you put it online and everything like that, then you can sell there too. Now, our people who are listening to this, if you comment down below and tell me things that you would like to hear me talk about, definitely comment those down below, because then I can talk about some things that I may have missed in all the videos I've done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys might have some ideas that you would want to hear about there, or like some like things from my experiences that might make sense to you better. Put those down in the comments. Join the Concert app. That's what this is all about. Join the Concert app now. And if we're in your state or in your city, definitely jump on shows, start doing shows. If we're not, then tell everybody to get on. And once we see the demand, it makes it easier for us to move to your city and state. If you know of any venues, let us know, because then that makes us easier to come out there and start putting on shows. And even if we're already in your city and you know some venues, that can help us add more shows to be available for everyone. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, this has been Music as a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean, and this is brought to you by the Concert app.